expect any major resistance over there. Or maybe they left security up to someone else.
Maybe so. If it's a cyborg, I hope his insurance is paid off. You know all the rules of football, Kev?
Huh? Well, enough to watch it at least. Why?
Just curious. I can never keep track of everything going on, all those rules.
It's not that complicated, Raiden. You never watched it? Actually, you ever watched any sport?
What can I say? I'm a man of culture, Kev. Give me a good movie over some dumb game any day.
Culture? Oh, the sensitive artsy cyborg type, right?
Right. Anyway, basketball's more my speed. Get the ball, put it in the net, 2 points.
Oh yeah, 'cause that's all there is to basketball. I swear, you crack me up sometimes, man.
So the president's visit to Pakistan, it's meant to build government ties, right?
Right. You probably know this, but there's a region on their northwest border called FATA. Stands for Federally Administered Tribal Areas. The central government is... well, let's just say they're not entirely in control of that part of the country.
Right. It served as a base for all kinds of armed groups over the years.
Uh-huh. The U.S. started staging cross-border raids there at the turn of the century, chasing after combatants that fled out of Afghanistan. The Pakistan army has tried to work with the U.S. to confront them from both sides. But that only escalated anti-American sentiment within the FATA. You can only get away with so many botched civilian strikes, after all.
I thought that post-SOP, the U.S., pretty much pulled out of Afghanistan. You know, after all that anti-war economy stuff broke out.
They did. That put an end to the FATA strikes, but definitely not the anti-American groups. Now their anger's channeled towards the pro-U.S. central government instead.
Wouldn't this visit just enrage the FATA groups even more, though? I know President Salam's pretty much on the American side.
Yeah, but Salam doesn't care. He's got no interest in dealing with them. He wants to get the FATA back under control, and I guess he wants America's help doing it.
And how do his people feel about that?
It's pretty much 50-50. A lot of people hate the U.S., for sure. But a lot of others have been directly affected by the anti-government suicide bombings, too. There's definitely some deep-seated support for helping the U.S., but only if it means ending the violence once and for all.
Sounds like we could see civil war here any moment. What about their intelligence bureau, the ISI? How do they feel about all this?
They haven't commented, publicly.
People are always saying how much bad blood there is between the ISI and the civilian government.
Oh yeah, there are stories all the time about their involvement with insurgents or terror groups. Depending on how the ISI acts, things over there could change pretty damn quickly.
No wonder Armstrong chose this place. It's like one big powder keg. So the president's visit to Pakistan, it's...
Right.
Right.
They now...
Wouldn't I know...
Yeah, he won't...
And how...
Yeah, there's...
What about...
They haven't come...
People...
Oh yeah, depending on how...
No,
So there's one thing I still don't get. If World Marshal's making it look like Desperado hacked their cyborgs, wouldn't that damage their reputation? Maybe they can hide the fact that they're involved in terrorism that way, but wouldn't they still be liable for the fact that they, you know, got hacked?
They probably would, yeah. But the only thing they're looking for here is a profit. Maybe they need to demonstrate neglect if they're gonna make any money off of this.
How so?
Well, Kevin dug up some intel. Half of the contractors stationed here didn't get their contracts renewed at the end of March. The US government rewrote their contract with Marshall earlier. Had to cut military spending after all, with the recession going on.
And so they'll say the contractors were spread too thin to prevent the hacking.
Exactly. And that'll only encourage the Army to boost their Marshall headcount. I can't say if the military's directly involved in this assassination attempt or not, but...
Well, what happened to the contractors they laid off?
Who knows? Hopefully they found work. But work like that isn't exactly easy to come by. Ever since the war economy died down, after the Patriots, life's been pretty much hand-to-mouth for a lot of contractors.
Huh. When you put it that way, I can almost understand what Sundowner was saying.
Yeah, but starting a war just to boost your profits? That's crazy, Courtney. If there's no work for contractors out there, it's time to find another industry to work in. Not that I have any right to say that, but...
Oh, come on, Raiden. Maybe you like to fight, sure, but you're not that... twisted.
Yeah, well, in any case, I better get to work. Riding out.
What's up? No? Did you need anything else?
No, guess not. Just wanted to hear the sound of your voice.
Oh, save it for your wife, Raiden.
In Pakistan already, and so quickly. Ah, science never ceases to amaze me.
When it's for peaceful purposes, you mean?
Well, yes, of course. Of course. I must say, though, the engineer behind that RLV craft looked rather young to me.
Yeah, a gifted kid, you might say.
I would love a chance to meet her sometime.
Why? What would you say to her?
Oh, I don't know. It's always just such a stimulating experience. Speaking with scientists from fields other than mine, that is. It often leads to all sorts of new insights, new ideas to work with. And speaking of that, I have yet to meet Dr. Emmerich, too.
I doubt you two would get along, actually.
Oh, you think so?
Anyway, how are the brains doing?
Oh, just fine. Safe and sound in Mexico. Now I just have to get them loaded and en route to Germany. Of course, the real challenge will come after that, I suppose.
Yeah. We'll get there when we get there.
Indeed. Indeed. Do be careful in the meantime. In Pakistan already, and so quickly. Ah, science never...
When it's for peaceful purposes.
Well, yes, of course. I must say, though, the engineer behind that...
Yeah? What?
Oh, I don't... It ends...
Anyway, how are...
Oh, now, of course...
Yeah.
Indeed.
Hey, Wolf. What did you and Sam talk about before we fought?
Nothing of note. He was not one to reveal himself to others.
All right. You don't have to tell me.
Raiden, I do not feel good about this. Do not allow yourself to be caught off guard.
Duly noted. Hey, Wolf. What did you and Sam
Right, do not allow...
Duly noted.
How was the ride?
Hey, Sonny. Fine, thanks. Though I wouldn't call it the smoothest ride ever. You sure that thing's really airworthy?
Well, what do you expect? You're traveling at a few dozen times the speed of sound. I mean, she operates well within all the projected margins of safety, so yes. We'll have to work on the turbulence levels a bit before we can take tourists on it. But come on, you really can't complain.
So, it's meant mainly for cargo at the moment?
We got a contract with COTS, NASA's Commercial Orbital Transportation Services. Mostly handling space deliveries, that kind of thing. We also joined the C3PO, the Commercial Crew and Cargo Program Office's Passenger Transport Program.
So soon we'll have private spacecraft bringing crew to the International Space Station. Wild times we're living in.
Well, the space race has been over for decades now. It's no longer something countries engage in for vanity's sake. Still, lots of people are starting to see the industrial value of zero-gravity experiments. Plus, the costs are getting lower and lower with each passing year, to the point where we'll have a serious space tourism industry before long.
Yeah, I heard about the space hotel the Russians opened up. But we're still not going any further than orbit, right?
Well, one company's planning to have a lunar landing craft complete by 2020. Not ours, though. I'm just hoping we can get to Jupiter while Hal's still alive.
Jupiter, huh? Wow, that's pretty far.
Oh, hey! How did Earth look from up there?
I can't even put it into words. I know I was still under the Kármán line, but it looked exactly like every satellite photo of Earth I've ever seen. No borders, no nothing. Just a whole lot of blue. Hopefully next time around I can take my time and enjoy it.
Yeah.
But first things first, you know?
Yep. Well, good luck, Jack. Raiden.
You designed that thing too, Sonny?
Nobody designed her.
Nobody?
Yep. She pretty much evolved by herself.
I think I may be missing something here.
We used a genetic algorithm to make it. Ever hear of that? They use it to build the cars for bullet trains and stuff. Basically, we start by creating a few different models of aircraft. The data for each design is treated as the genes for a new aircraft. They all get crossbred with each other in virtual space. Eventually, you come up with offspring that exhibit genes from each original design.
Offspring?
You know, children. Each child then competes with the others for survival in the virtual space. The kids that have the best aerodynamic traits survive and pass on their genes, creating the next generation of aircraft. You get this sort of gene-based evolution across generations, like animals in real life.
I'm having a hard time imagining aircraft having kids like that. Anyway, what's with the two wings on the top and the bottom?
Oh yeah, the swept wings? They're set up so that the sonic booms they create wind up bashing against each other, cutting down on shockwaves. The idea has been hard to implement due to issues with elevation and wingtip treatment. But thanks to the genetic algorithm, the RLV worked out all the problems herself.
Herself, huh? Makes it sound like you're more breeder than designer. So what happened with the RLV after it dropped me off?
Running on autopilot, she'll circumnavigate the Earth and head back.
Wow, a trip around the world, huh?
That's the sort of distance you need to reach orbital velocity. She had to lower her altitude pretty drastically to drop the landing craft. So getting back up for her was a pretty rough trip.
Rough? How?
In terms of damage to the craft, I mean. Running in ramjet mode helps conserve fuel a lot, so she's good there, but yeah.
Sorry about that.
Oh, no. All in the name of peace, right? Besides, it made for a good load experiment. I'm kind of surprised it actually worked, actually.
What?
Oh, I'm just teasing. Don't be so serious.
So what kind of engine is this LACE thing?
It's short for Liquid Air Cycle Engine. A LACE uses liquid hydrogen to chill and liquefy the oxygen in the air. The reaction between the liquefied hydrogen and oxygen creates propulsion. On this RLV, the LACE is combined with ramjets for maximum efficiency. Once the solid rocket boosters lift her off and bring her to Mach 3, she switches to ramjet propulsion mode. In the meantime, she's taking in and liquefying oxygen from the air. Once there's enough, the LACE is ignited. If it wasn't for that hybrid engine, it would have been pretty rough for an RLV to pull that trick that it did. You know, lowering its elevation just long enough to drop a landing craft.
Well, I'm impressed. If it wasn't for you, I'd still be on your side of the world.
And I wouldn't even be here if not for you. Don't forget that, okay? A lot of people appreciate what you've done for them.
I'll try not to. So what kind of engine is this LACE thing?
It's on the once in the if it wasn't for that
Well,
Don't forget.
I'll try not to.